Wait, so you, Nanny, and Bala were by the river.
Right, because it was a hot day, and this is when the actie happened in Maszczyska.
Okay. And you were there because of the Oxy or just because?
No, we were there, and then we found out that what's going on. I don't know from whom or how. So we stayed there, and then we stayed overnight in a field,
Near the
of
house?
wheat. No, it's at the neighbors.
Mm-hmm. So you slept outside?
Yeah, I, Nene, and Bala.
Okay. And then what happened then?
And after that, we went to Maszczyska.
You didn't go back home?
We didn't go back home.
Okay.
We went to Maszczyska.
And you walked to Maszczyska?
Yeah, because it was
And what did you see along the way to Maszczyska?
nothing. We stopped near the cemetery, and there was a barn, and we stayed overnight there in the barn.
So another night?
Yeah, another night.
Did you have any food?
No.
Okay.
And then next morning we went into town.
And you didn't see any other people at that time? Nobody told Nanny
Nothing.
to sleep in that barn?
No.
She just didn't figure.
She just did it by herself.
Okay. So then...
So at the river, who told you about the Axia? How did you...
I don't remember. I don't know. So, but somebody said.
Okay. So then you went to Maszczyska.
Yeah.
And what did you see there? Where did you go?
And we went to the where Grandpa was, where my father was there, and Rolf and Borch, and they stayed in a small cabin, like house, little house.
Was that the house of your grandfather?
No, it was a house in the ghetto,
In the
because
ghetto.
there was a
Was there a fence?
There was no fence, but people, Jews, had to stay in this square of the town, the square. So they stayed there. This was like a shack, a garden shack. So we stayed there for a few days.
And so wait, who was there again? So Chaim Aaron.
Yeah,
And
Baruch,
Baruch,
Rolf, and Nanny,
and Bala,
and Bala.
and you.
and I.
And your grandfather wasn't there, and Nas and David wasn't there either.
No, Nelson David went, I don't know where he was, but later on he went to the town where they gathered all the
And Srulak, did you see him?
Sulek was also there.
He was in the apartment in that shed?
No. He was in the square with Mundek.
In the square?
I mean, in the square.
In the ghetto.
The ghetto,
He was there.
yeah.
So, did you see anything? What did you see in Maszczyska when you caught that? Were
There
there
was
bodies?
nothing.
Was there anything around?
Yeah, I saw a cart, people carrying bodies to the cemetery.
Or did the bodies were they clothed?
Yeah, they were laying down and covered just with something.
Mm-hmm. They were taking bodies there.
Yeah. Those are the bodies that they shot. They shot during the actie
And they were taking them to the cemetery.
to them for burial. Yes.
So what? So did you know what was going on when you went? You went to the. You were in this ghetto in this house, and were they talking about anything? Were
Yeah, they were talking about what's going on. You know, and that's what I knew. Everything was going on. You know.
And then what happened?
And then Baruch came and told that he has this man that wants to take.
But Baruch was there with you.
Yes, but
Yeah.
Baruch said that he has the man he was in contact with
Mhm.
him. That will take me to.
Mhm.
So they agreed.
Mhm. And who told you this?
Baruch so
Baruch told you. And was your father there still?
yes,
He was still there,
yes,
and Nanny was there.
and Nanny and Bala.
Okay, so then Baruch, yeah. Well,
When I left, then Bala and Nanny went also,
mhm.
and they could not make it.
So Baruch. So then Baruch, how long were you there in this ghetto for?
Very short time,
Uh-huh.
maybe a week.
Do you remember anything during that week?
No.
What was happening? Did you leave the house?
No,
Did you see any Germans?
no, there was no Germans. There was police, you know.
Did you see any police?
No.
So then Baruch, what did Baruch do?
No, so the Baruch contacted me. He came here.
He took you out of the ghetto?
Yeah.
Was it at night or during the day?
During the daytime. I mean, I went with Baruch. He took me, and we went together to meet this man.
Where did you go?
He came by
In Moshiska?
Yeah, in Moshiska. He came to
In the ghetto?
us. Yeah, before not inside the ghetto, outside the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the man's name?
The man's name was Hrushchinsky.
Jewish.
No.
No, he was not Jewish.
And then what happened? Did you stay with this man then? Did he take you or did you went back with Baruch?
No, I went with the man.
Okay.
I went with the man, and we went to the station,
The train station?
the train station, and we
Did you have anything with you?
nothing, just whatever I was dressed,
Mm-hmm.
and and then we went to Lvov.
To
Because-
Lvov.
Yeah, because he didn't want to have a trail, leave a trail, so he went to Lvov, and we stayed overnight in Lvov, and then from there we went to Skorzysko, Kamien.
Okay.
And my name was Roman Posadzki.
Did he give you papers?
Yeah, I had a birth certificate.
With your picture on it?
No, a birth certificate. You don't
Oh,
have
no,
a
birth
picture.
certificate. Okay. And then you got off the train. He took you off the train.
Off the
to
train, and
Skorzysko.
we walked over to the lady, and that's it. I stayed there with her.
Okay. And did you know what was going on?
No, of course I knew what's going on.
But you knew you were in hiding. You knew
Of
you were
course
in
I
hiding.
knew.
Uh-huh.
You were how old now?
Did anyone tell you this?
I was 9 years old.
Did Baruch explain to you what
Nobody
to do?
explained to me. They didn't need to explain to me.
And did Nanny say anything before you
No,
left?
no.
No. Okay.
What did she say? What could she
Did she
say?
say goodbye?
I guess so.
And then this woman took care of you.
Yes.
Nanny gave you food for the journey?
No. Not they didn't have food too much themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What was the woman's name?
The woman's name Żołądek. What was her first name? I called her Chocha. I called her Auntie.
She was meant to be your aunt, you were her nephew.
Yes. Yeah.
So, where you had your own room there? Where did you sleep?
I slept in a living room on a bench. Yeah.
On a hard bench?
Hard bench, but she put some blankets underneath. And
How many rooms was this house?
this house was maybe one big room with a small, I think, a kitchenette or something like that.
And did anyone else live in this house?
Yes, her niece lived downstairs. Her niece lived downstairs.
There was an upstairs and downstairs?
Yeah. Her niece lived downstairs with her 2 children. Little one.
Mm-hmm.
Did her niece know you were Jewish?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Was there a bathroom in the house?
I don't think so. It was outside.
And was the house near anything?
The house was near between 2 railroad tracks. Like 2 trailers, and the house was in the middle. Yeah. And there was this camp was here, the concentration camp. There was a factory here, concentration camp here, and they were walking to to the factory to work.
You saw Jews
Yes.
walking?
Yeah.
What did they wear uniforms or
No,
striped
no.
uniforms or just clothes?
Just clothes.
Did you ever see anyone getting killed
No.
or beaten?
I heard when they were moving them. I heard noises and screams, you know. But otherwise,
Were they women or just and men?
I don't remember. Maybe I don't know.
Did you ever see any German soldiers?
Yes, soldiers I saw
Where?
up there by the factory.
In town?
In town, they were shopping, and a soldier was coming to visit her niece. That her husband was working in Germany.
Did he ever talk to you, this German soldier?
No,
You didn't have anything.
I avoided him as much as I can.
And what did you do every day?
Nothing.
Did you stay at home?
Yeah. Where else would I go?
In the summertime.
Summertime we went to the village, to the farm. We stayed at the farm.
What was this farm like?
Ostoyov was the name of the farm, of the town. I mean, of the village, of the farm, village Ostoyov, and he had a piece of land. He was growing corn, I think, wheat, potatoes, and that's it.
Did you eat corn from the fresh
corn
corn?
on the cob? And mostly he had wheat, you know. So we were threshing the wheat, you know. You had a thresher is a piece of wood this way and a small piece. And the small piece you were knocking on the this was the threshing of the, and then we grinded it to flour. It was a big stone like this, one on top, bottom, one on top, with a pin to hold up the top stone. And you could adjust the pin up and down to how thin you want to have
It's like in the Bible.
the flour.
It's like in the ancient times.
How thin you want to have the
Millstone.
flour. Right, millstone, yeah. And we were grinding it with this.
Who else? Who were you there with?
I was there, his son was there,
Who's he? Who's this
the
person?
farmer.
Who was the farmer? Like he was a cousin of the woman?
No, she always used to go there for the summer. So she used to come there every time.
Was it her family?
Well, I don't think that it was her family.
She used to work there?
Yeah, she worked
I
on the
see.
farm with him and his wife. And the son was there.
And was this lady related to the Polish man who brought you there?
No, she was related to his wife.
His wife. Okay. And how do you think Baruch knew this man
Oh, he was making deals with him.
before the war?
Not
Or during the war?
During the war.
What sort of deal?
Russian, I mean, they had to change the dollars into Polish zloty, so
Was he with the underground or
yeah, he was in the underground.
in the Polish underground?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the army Krajowy. This was against the Russian, you know. This is with
The home army.
home army. And the government was in London. Days. He was a high officer there, and I'm surprised that he did not that he took me in, because they were against the Jews too.
Right. So Baruch must have been friendly with him.
Yeah.
So, do you okay? So, did you ever go to church?
Yes.
What did you do?
Once I was in church, Eastern time,
Yeah.
because we didn't go to. Usually, when we went to the village, so they asked me if I was already confession. So I said yes, I was in Skarżysko. And in this register, I said I was in there. So I went out, you know. But I had to go Easter time. I had to go to church with them. So I went to church.
Do you remember church?
Yeah,
In the town?
yeah.
What did you know how to pray?
I was kneeling and then mumbling.
And because Risha said after the war you came to her house, and then before you were eating you were crossing yourself.
No.
Maybe that's what Risha said.
So exaggeration.
I'm sure you knew.
And Christmas
you knew what to do.
On Christmas Day, you didn't go to church?
At Christmas time, I think one Christmas only.
Do you remember Christmas? Like, what do you
I
have to do?
remember that we had a tree. But I would go to church. I didn't. Maybe it was too cold or something.
So how long were you there at this woman's house?
27 months.
27 months. So that's 2 years and 5 months. So.
No, 2 years and 4 months. 3 months.
2 years and 3 months. So 2 years and 3 months. So 1940. What year was that at the end? When did you leave her?
45.
In 1945.
Yes.
So you got there in 1942 or so.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I just think that the Axia was a year later, because in 1941 the Germans came in, and then
To the Russians?
the Germans came in 1941, July 1941. That's when and then in 1942 you went to her house. A year later.
So maybe I, you know.
That's why I think that it was a little bit longer. And then you heard the fighting when the Russians came.
No, there was no fighting.
Any bombing?
There was no fighting. The German left without fighting.
There was no bombing? You didn't hear airplanes?
No bombing, no fighting. There was reconnaissance planes where I always saw the Russians, you know. But there was no bombing or anything.
Did you see any trains passing on the tracks? Like
Oh yeah, trains.
transports?
No transport, no.
And then when the Russians came, did you knew about it?
Well,
She told you.
she didn't tell me that the Russians that were liberated. I don't remember.
Did you know the war was over for you?
No, I did not. Until Lilka came to see me, to pick me up.
And who was Lilka?
Who was Lilka? Lilka was a daughter of a doctor from Mościska. And
What was the doctor's name?
I don't remember. But anyway, my father, because Bala didn't want to go, she was afraid. So she went. And she came.
Did you know who she was?
No. She came and she says, I came to pick you up to go home. And that's it. I said, okay, let's go.
What did you feel?
I said, let's go.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
How did you feel?
I feel relieved.
Did you know your parents were alive until then? Did
She
you have
came.
news before she came?
Before she came, I had once I had a letter from my mother that was sent to me through this man, Kruszynski.
What did the letter say?
I say everything is good.
Was it in Polish?
In Polish, of course.
And did the lady talk to you about your parents? Did she let you know that they were okay?
Yeah.
And did she get money from your parents?
I guess so. She get money from him. I guess from the Kruszynski.
And was she upset that you were leaving?
I didn't ask her.
Did you take anything with you when you went back?
Well, when?
From her house back to.
What did I have? I just had
Clothes.
my clothing. was cold outside because it was cold, and we had to travel in open cars, train, railroad cars, open.
When you were living with her, did she buy you new clothes?
Nah,
You-
she didn't buy me that.
So you wore the same clothes the whole.
Yeah, I mean,
You grew.
I grew a little bit. I have a picture. Bala has a picture that I grew and my pants, my high up like this.
All the kids didn't get clothing there anyway.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
you
I
the
know.
peasants wore the same thing.
Yeah, peasants were the same, especially down there.
So, where did you go from her house?
Where?
Where did you go after you left?
Oh, we went to the railroad station and we took the train
To where?
to Przemyśl.
To Przemyśl, because you didn't go back to Maszyska.
No, just to Przemyśl.
And in Przemyśl, and then where was
Well, in
everyone
Przemyśl,
living?
my parents had already an apartment. That they had furniture and all, fixed up already. They were fixed up
So,
because they were liberated, 7 months before, because the Russians stopped at the, I think 7 months. I was 7 months longer than they were liberated.
Did you know they'd been liberated?
Yeah.
When you were living with the lady, or when you were at the farm, did you play with other children?
There was no children, no other children. Usually I try to stay away from other children. Her niece had 2 children, little one. One was maybe 5, 6 years, 7 years. And the other one was little smaller, even the girl.
And did you have anything to do with them?
Yeah, I had to watch them sometimes.
So when you came back to Przemyśl, who was living in the apartment? Just Bala, Nanny.
Yeah, Bala,
father.
Nanny, and my father. And Vorov was living next across the street in an apartment with Lola. They got married and they lived in an apartment.
Were they married already when you came back?
Yes, he was married with her.
Did your parents look different? Did Nanny look different when you came? Did she look the same?
Of course she looked different. She was young.
Did she have gray hair?
She had gray hair always.
Even before the war?
Yeah.
And then what do you remember?
So wait, how did she look different when you came back from how you remembered her?
Oh, she was young. I remember the same way she was before.
And what do you remember in Przemyśl? What do you remember doing there?
Nothing especially. I stayed in Przemyśl very short time, maybe 2 weeks or so, and then I went to Rysza, to Wałbrzych.
Okay. And you stayed there for a while.
And I stayed there for like a week. I got sick there, and I had to recuperate. So I stayed there for 2-3 weeks, I think. And then I went to Krakow to meet the family because they were ready to go to Germany.
So then they were in Krakow.
They were in Krakow.
And then from Krakow?
And from Krakow they went to the Czech border, and they took a train. And I think there was already the Israeli organization